I predict it will be a prison break. New York desperately needs strong, sane leadership, not woke Marxism. Just this weekend, an off-duty Border Patrol officer was shot in the face during a botched robbery in a New York City park. But as of earlier today, Mamdani was totally silent about that shooting. After all, he's on vacation. Here now to respond is Trump's border czar. He's doing a phenomenal job. Tom Homan is with us. Tom, thank you for being with us. This guy apparently is second suspect in the New York City border agent shooting is a Biden illegal who had 8 priors.
Yeah, both of them, the shooter and his accomplice that was driving a moped, they both entered during the Biden administration. They both were released on their own recognizance. Wasn't even a bomb placed on, wasn't detention. They released them right away. And as you said, in the last 4 years, Sean, unvetted people released, illegal aliens released in the country, weren't held more than a day. And, you know, and they've both been involved with criminal activity in Massachusetts and in New York. Arrested in New York 3 times. And not one time did NYPD reach out to ICE or respond or detain or just reach back in the street.
So New York State Democrats have funneled over $600 million taxpayer dollars to illegal alien advocacy groups. They want to hire attorneys for illegal immigrants in their state. How is that in and of itself legal? Because I don't believe it is.
Well, you know, Governor Hochul, you know, she supported the Bail Reform Act. This is why these people, these illegal aliens, walked out of a NYPD precinct. They didn't even get to Rikers Island. So it starts with bail reform. Then the sanctuary city, you know, starts with De Blasio and the city council. You know, I put a lot of blame on the city council because we had an agreement to put ICE back into Rikers Island so we can arrest a lot of bad guys in the safety and security of Rikers Island. And the city council sued and stopped that from happening. So I put a lot of blame on the city council why the crime rate is so high in New York. But look, we're arresting record amounts of public safety threats in New York. We're making New York safer every day because of the people we arrest. But we got a lot more to do. We got a lot more to find. And that's why President Trump committed 2 weeks ago, we are going to prioritize sanctuary cities because we know we have a problem. We know they're releasing public safety threats every day. And I said today at the press conference, we're going to flood the zone of sanctuary cities. We're sending additional agents. We're going to flood the neighborhoods with officers. We're going to flood worksite enforcement. If they don't give us access to the bad guy in Rikers Island or at the precincts, then we'll go to the neighborhood and find them. We're not going to give up on this. We're going to just send more resources. Double down, as President Trump said, triple down.
Okay, so ICE agents did arrest a Mexican illegal immigrant after the beheaded body of an Illinois woman was found in his yard. And, you know, I listen to Hunter Biden lashing out, dropping F-bomb after F-bomb. That's fine. You know, the guy made millions, he admittedly had no experience in energy, oil, gas, or coal, or Ukraine, or China. Put all that aside. And he's saying all of this, and this is very typical of the left. Not one time his father, he didn't mention how his father allowed anywhere between, 12 and 20 million people. We don't know the actual number. Known terrorists and cartel members, gang members, murderers, rapists, and other violent criminals. And it's amazing. How come, can you explain the psychology why the left never mentions the Laken Rileys, the Rachel Morrins, the Jocelyn Nungarys, your agents that are now targets of violence and doxing, you yourself a target of such. How come they don't care about all the law-abiding people that have been raped, murdered, and victims of other violent crime? I never hear that from the left. Why is that?
Well, look, the former first drug addict doesn't know what he's talking about, first of all. But the left doesn't want to admit the truth. The left doesn't want to admit the truth. They know that under President Biden, not by accident, not by mismanagement, not by incompetence, by design, 10.5 million people came to our border and they released a vast majority of the United States. Sex trafficking women and children, historic high. Over 250,000 Americans dead from fentanyl coming across the border, an historic high. Over 400 people on terrorist watch lists were arrested coming across the border, an historic high. Cartels made more money than they ever made. And as you and me talked about many times, over 2 million known gotaways enter this country. We arrested 400 people on terrorist watch lists. How many of that 2 million came from the country sponsoring terror that Joe Biden led in this country? So you're right. President Trump's come back in office. We are looking for these people. We're trying to find as many criminals, national security threats as we can. Right now, in 7 weeks, President Trump created the most secure border in the history of this nation in 7 weeks. What Joe Biden wouldn't do in 4 years. President Trump proves to the American people every day why he's the greatest president of my lifetime. We're going to fix this, Sean. We're going to keep going after the criminals. We're going to keep going after national security threats. And as I said, President Trump's committed to flooding the zone of sanctuary cities because they're the problem, and that's where we got to focus our attention on.
Listen, you're doing a phenomenal job. Everybody involved, the agents are doing a phenomenal job. Kristi Noem, phenomenal job. But they allowed so many people and so many unvetted illegals with all these criminal backgrounds, even terrorist connections and assassination squads. It's like a needle in a haystack. I just pray our country is not attacked. I pray. Because they already have blood on their hands, they'll have more. Tom Homan, good to see you, my friend. Always. Thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.